So what's for dinner tonight? I have these gorgeous, colorful, tiny tomatoes and these lovely sweet peppers and basil. And I'm in the mood for pasta. So let's make whole wheat farfalle and dress them in a sweet pepper cream using my easy cheesy sauce, which is non-dairy, non-nut, low-fat, delicious, and here's that video. And we'll top it off by roasting these mini tomatoes to concentrate their flavor and their natural sweetness. We'll use no cooking oils at all. This dish is so pretty, it's so good for you, it's easy enough for a weeknight supper, but it's special enough for company. I'm Cathy of Cathy's Kitchen Prescription, plant-based nutrition for life. Let's do this. First, I'll show you how I break down our produce. Here I'm simply halving the tomatoes. Now I'm destemming some fresh thyme. Other hardy herbs are great too. I'll strew them over the tomatoes with a really minimal pinch of salt and a couple of good grinds of pepper. And then into a hot oven on parchment paper they'll go to dry roast at 350 for a half hour. While the tomatoes are roasting, with a really sharp chef knife, let's peel and mince our fresh cloves of garlic. We'll be sauteing them together shortly with our onion and with those colorful, beautiful sweet peppers. And next we'll dice up our red onion in a very similar fashion. As we're roasting up the tomatoes without any cooking oils, we won't use oil in the saute either. Who needs those excess calories or inflammatory fats? We'll halve the onion, we'll peel it, we'll dice it up in 3 dimensions. A sharp knife is crucial for safety when you're prepping vegetables. With a dull knife, it's far easier to slip and then cut yourself. So you just want to remember to keep those fingers tucked in very nicely. And as for the peppers, we'll simply seed them and slice them into strips. So in a stainless or nonstick pan, I've been letting it heat up on a medium heat for about 5 minutes. Nice and warm now. I'm just going to add my diced onions. These are all going in the blender after, but we're going to let them caramelize a little bit. They'll begin to color the bottom of the pan. That's fine. We're going to deglaze it afterwards, but this will take about 3 minutes just to cook down and soften a little bit. When we're cooking without cooking oils, as you see, you don't really need to do anything but let the onion caramelize. It releases its own juices. You don't have to add anything at this point. We're going to let those caramelized sugars flavor the pepper sauce. So you can see the pan is getting nicely caramelized now. I'm going to add the garlic. The garlic will burn if we let it cook too long without any liquid. So we're just going to let it mix with the onions for a minute, tops. And then I'll deglaze the pan. I'm going to get all those lovely caramelized sugars in our sauce instead of on the pan, but you need very little water here. All right, I'm using vegetable broth. You can use dry vermouth, white wine, water. It really lends a little bit of flavor, so consider what you're using, but you don't need much. And at this point, we're going to put in our peppers and lower the flame just a little bit, so it's on moderate low, I'd say. And now we're just going to let them cook. We can add a little more broth or cooking liquid as needed, but keeping it fairly dry. We don't want it to just get sloppy. And in about 10 or 15 minutes, just keep stirring periodically. When the peppers are nicely softened, they're ready for our next step. So here we are. It's been around 20 minutes or so. I just wanted to show you where this is. The peppers are beginning to fall apart. That's what we're looking for. Onions are lovely and soft and not much liquid here. So I'm going to throw in the basil, and we're just going to cook it for a minute or two, and then we're done and move to our next step. So let's see how our tomatoes are. We've been in here a good 45 minutes, maybe a little more. So, but they're done now. So you can see how they've shrunk, they've concentrated their flavors. They're going to be really tomatoey and just perfect for the top of our pasta. So now we're going to add our sauteed peppers and onions, and we're going to puree them in the food processor. All this deliciousness in there. Sometimes I leave vegetables chunky for a sauce, but this is a delicate sauce. We're going to puree this and then add the easy cheesy sauce into the pureed peppers. So let this run for a minute. Okay, let's have a look. So, just to show you what we're looking at, pretty pumpkin-y color. And it's very broken down now and smooth. And we're going to add our cheese sauce. And for the recipe for the cheese sauce, see my other video on easy cheesy cheese sauce. All right. And we're done. So, this is what we'll pour on top of our pasta for the sauce. Now we're just about ready to cook the pasta. The water is now boiling. I'm going to salt it a little bit. In the plant-based kitchen, we're careful with salt. We're not going to use more than we need, but a little bit of salt you do need, or your pasta will taste like wet paper. And so I just added a couple of tablespoons for this amount of water. It's a huge amount of water. And the way to know is just to taste it. You just want the littlest, sense of flavor in the water. You don't need a lot. So I brought my water back to a rapid boil. And I'm using farfalle, whole wheat farfalle. Bow ties or butterflies, they hold the sauce really well. You want it to boil rapidly, so have it on high heat. And then whatever pasta shape you use, just you want to test it before it's done. Let's give them a taste. Should be almost done. I can fish one out here. There we go. You're done. Now we're going to add our hot sauce, our hot cheesy sauce with the peppers into the pasta. We're not going to add it all. I'm going to add a bunch of it, and I'm going to stir. You don't want this to be swimming in the sauce. On the other hand, you do want to make sure they're well coated. And then I'll show you how we're going to plate them so that you'll get a sense. We'll add some more sauce then if we want to. So here we've given a serving with our tomatoes on top, and I'm just going to show you how to chiffonade a little basil. I have about 6 leaves here, and this is going to be our garnish. We're just going to roll them up and then make little slivers down the top. and sprinkle them, and we're done. So I hope you enjoyed this recipe. You'll find it listed here, and it includes the easy cheesy sauce as well, and I will see you next time.